People always saying, I want to be an actor, I want to step into your shoes. And I feel wherever we are, whether in the south of Namibia, and wherever this clip or wherever this interview is being listened to now, take up space wherever you are. If you're young, if you're old, that thing that says tomorrow, stop it. Just do it right now.
Do it today.
If you feel like doing it, just do it.
Host Adriano Visagie, who is joining us this afternoon on Culture Talk. Now, he is also the co-founder of a non-profit theatre project, Actors Lab, that aims at educating fellow aspiring actors and also allowing them the platform to develop on stage and in front of the camera. A jack of all trades and taking the film industry by storm, he recently won his 3rd international award for Best Actor at the Independent Film Festival in France, and he is joining us in the studio to tell us more. Hey, Adriano.
Hello, Treza, and to all the 99 FM listeners. Yeah.
Good to have you back in studio.
Thank you so much for having me. This is the first for the year, right?
First for the year, yes.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too, 4 or 5 months later. No, man, congratulations.
Thank you.
Once again, this is your 3rd international award. Tell me how you feel. Because doing, something you love and building this reputation in this industry that you've been doing over the few years, and then getting recognized for all your hard work. Tell me how that makes you feel.
Sure, Teresa, I'm still overwhelmed by it. I'm overwhelmed by, still taking all of this in and processing it all, because I constantly ask myself, I recently started sharing my personal story of growing up in poverty, and, I really reflected my life and say, what, this child that grew up in poverty in, I don't want to say dusty streets of Katutura, but growing up in Katutura, here I am, on an international stage, winning my 3rd international award. For me personally, it's not just the recognition, but international people saying that, hey, there's a Namibian film industry, and there's an industry that's really brewing, and we're here to plow back and say, here we are as Namibia. So I personally feel it's a lot of growth, but I still want to work with so many Namibian actors and creatives and really just work on projects. So it's overwhelmingly good.
Yeah,
and
I can imagine. I can imagine. I always just see these things on social media, and I never really get a chance to actually, because we never really see each other apart from seeing each other at R&B song night, or at a show or at a gig, or here at 99. But I'm really, really proud of you, man. Of course, putting the country on the map and letting the world know that there is a huge and brewing film industry, and it is things like this that will make people recognize and understand and know that there is a place called Namibia that they should be keeping an eye out on. I want to know from you, Adriano, what is your secret though in terms of just working hard and getting things done and going and going for your dreams and for your goals? Like, what is your secret? What do you do to keep yourself, in that mindset to say to yourself that this is what I want, so I'm going to get it?
So I think a personal drive for me has always been inspired by people. I think who I am as an individual is really about the people and those that are around me. Your story, people's story, the camera guy's story.
Yes.
I think people, everyday walks of life inspire me, and I think the drive to just better and be better at myself, and realizing that I'm actually my own competition, because as much as people always seem to add a certain notion and a certain level of respect based on your following or a different title that you've won, I'm still Adriano as an individual. And I think that for me personally just humbles me in terms of who I am as an individual. So if you look at my accolades, that's not who I am. Those are things I've achieved. So what I constantly remind myself, and what the drive is, I've achieved this, but what next?
What's
next? So it's similar to, at this very moment, my biggest craving is to really just be in a theater space. I think so much of who we are as individuals, we've created all these things and spaces and platforms, but what will really fuel me is really to just be on stage now. And I think that personally is the constant drive of a thirst. You're creative, I'm a creative. We won our biggest crits, but one of those things that you feel a void and an emptiness that needs to be filled. And that for me is what I constantly crave for, and what drives me on a daily.
That's beautiful. Tell me, our film industry is growing exponentially, and it's really beautiful to see. But what do you think we can still do to improve our platforms when it comes to the film film industry?
Sure, there's so much that we can do. I think, and I'm reaching out to government now, and I'm really saying, government, hey, we can't just say, allow the Film Commission to receive on a yearly basis a 3 million. A 3 million is literally what funds one feature film.
Yeah, one film, yeah.
I mean, here, this past year, Namibia made history by having, the White Line, being eligible to be shortlisted for an Oscar, which
That's
I think
amazing.
that is amazing,
Dude.
And I think as Namibians, we're supposed to make an uproar about this because it's a deeply rooted history that we've not tapped into as Namibians, which I think is so important. I think what government also needs to start doing, yes, MultiChoice and MBC really jumped on the gun to say we're really going to fund film, but let's keep on telling more local stories, because we want to hear about the stories up in the north, where people sat under a tree and your grandmother used to tell those stories,
Yeah.
or stories of the guy on the street, what landed him there. So I think as a country, we're so rich and we're not capitalizing on a multi-billion-dollar industry.
That is very
and
true.
when I say this, I'm talking about the guys at the College of the Arts. Those are the guys that we need to really knock on people's doors and say, hey, please come, you're there to plow in the work.
Yeah.
So let's just respect each other in this industry, and I think the support from government is really what I would say will allow for our industry to grow. We always talk about Namibia and the ocean meets the desert.
Yeah.
But you know how many movies have been produced in soccer?
Yes, a lot.
But how many or how often do we as government say, you know what, we want to push Namibian actors. We want a Treza, or we want an Adriano to be part of the film of The Mummy, or Tomb Raider if it's being shot there, or if Blade comes, or if Angelina Jolie comes, does a production on this side.
Yeah.
How are we pushing our own local people to be on those platforms? Yeah.
I actually tried, there was an acting, they were calling out people to come through for auditions.
Yeah.
And I went, it was an Afrikaans film. Now, I don't
Yeah.
really speak Afrikaans properly because
Yeah.
ik brein was in Afrikaans.
Yeah.
And because of that, I speak more English,
Yeah.
So I didn't make the cut. But what is ultimately, if you are thinking about moving into the film industry, becoming an actress, becoming an actor, like what is like the core thing
Yeah.
in really embodying a character when you do get casted for a film?
Sure. I think a director and whoever has written a script, they always have their character in mind. It's really about what you bring. And I feel anyone is a performer. That's what the National Theatre's slogan is. If you feel like going up on stage, that's how Charlize Theron got casted as an actress. She was being melodramatic in the mall. So I would say characterization is, if you've got a script, really study it. Know what you're going for, study it, really give it your all. You also need to know what you're doing and why you're doing it.
Yeah.
A lot of people always see me on the red carpet and see the glamour and the glitz.
The poise, so poised, yeah.
But it's really not about that. There's so much more to film and to theater and the creative space. I think it's really the core essence of the art. And if you're really willing to pour that in and realize that, hey, I've spent 3 months from not, being with family and attending birthdays,
Yeah.
but I just got this short or this minimal payment for 1 or 2 evenings of performance, you'll realize that it takes more work to create a production that lasts you maybe just an hour and still get critics from that. So it's that type of sacrifice. If you're willing to go that route, then I believe you're a true actor.
Yeah. The highlight. I'm sure there's plenty of highlights in your film career. But if you could name one that really you can say this was something that you're just so proud of.
Yeah.
Is there a moment like that for you?
Sure, there's so many.
Yeah.
I really wish I could share all of them. I need to always say this.
I worked with Uncle David Javera, the late Uncle David. He has been my fuel. He's motivated me. He's been like a father in this industry. And one thing that he just always told me, Adriano, is that we don't chase accolades. And I've realized that for me, especially at the award ceremonies or being recognized, it's not about that. Ultimately, what it all boils down to is how we make people feel. The art for me is about what change we can possibly bring to society. And more so over, Kapana, that just, has been receiving all these accolades. A lot of people always tell me they can't keep up. But what's so beautiful about this very same story that I really wish I had the confidence of my character is the fact that George and his story and the story of Kapana, which was told by Mikros and Senga because they wrote the script. What is so beautiful about it is how these two characters have sort of metamorphosized conversations in our society. You know, people come to me and they say, you told my story. Or people came to me and say, I'm able to come out to my family. Or people come to me and say, I'm able to deal with my HIV/AIDS status. And I'm like, that for me means that I've done the work.
You've done the work.
Yeah.
That is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Adi, before we let you go, what's next for you? I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of things in the pipeline.
Yeah.
But in terms of films and acting, what's next for you in that regard?
So Mickey Ross, who also starred in Kapana, she's got a really short skit coming up, so I'll be featuring on that. That is one thing that's on the pipeline. We've got the song night sessions still happening. I'm hosting that.
Yes.
And personally, I'm pursuing my studies, my final year of doing human resources. And then there's a little big baggie that I'm preserving, and I'll be sharing that on all my social media
When is
platforms.
this now?
So, very soon. Very, very soon, yeah.
Adriano, it's always a pleasure to have you in the studio.
Yeah.
And really just well done, and congratulations on the accolade. And like you said, it's all about making a difference and telling stories, and someone else being able to relate to those stories and coming to you and saying, hey, whatever your character was in this film, it really spoke to me. So I think that really is the biggest accolade you can really get, if you're doing a good job and doing the work.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for everything that you do, and I'll see you probably at the next R&B song night, which is only in June?
In May, June, yeah.
It's in June,
we're
right?
really hoping for May. We're really hoping for May.
So we can scrum. You say scrum.
Yeah.
We're going to scrum us.
Oh yeah, we're gonna scrum.
Scrum or scream.
But Teresa, maybe just last words. I always say this. I get so many inboxes of people always saying, I want to be an actor, I want to step into your shoes. And I feel wherever we are, whether in the south of Namibia, and wherever this clip or wherever this interview is being listened to now, take up space wherever you are. If you're young, if you're old, that thing that says tomorrow, stop it. Just do it right now.
Do it today.
If you feel like doing it, just do it.
Take the first
I want to be like
steps.
Nike. Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. Take that leap of faith. Take that leap of doing it. Inbox me if you need, guidance. I'll guide wherever I possibly can. I'll want to partner up. I want to collaborate, because I feel we need more younger people. If we want to really be at the Oscars, if we want to really, step into an international platform, let's collaborate as a country and stick together as creators.
Collaboration is key. I agree with that. AD, once again, good to see you, and thanks for coming through.
Thank you for having me.
Adriano Visagie in the studio, of course, celebrating his third international award for Best Actor at the Independent Film Festival in France. Just such an amazing, of course, news for him and news for the country as well. This is Treza in the afternoon on your favorite radio station. It's Ian Lovely right now with Have It All. We also have Mark